Editing tools. Editing tools play a very important role after the drawing tools, as they allow editing, speeding up the drawing process, in drawing design. We'll go over each one in turn. Let's note where they are located. The first option, Home tab, Modify group, which has additional tools. If we move to the Draw tab, a separate group will be highlighted called Modify, which will combine the main tools and additional ones. We usually find it more convenient to work through the Home tab, so let's return to it. Let's sequentially study each of the group's commands, starting with Move. This command allows you to move objects in a specified direction, to a specified distance. Let's use this command. You can also use the Ctrl-D keyboard shortcut. Hover the mouse cursor over the command, and a tooltip will appear. The first thing we suggest is to select an object. We need to move our circle to any corner of the square. Select the object, confirm the action using the Enter key, then specify the base point. This will be the center of the circle. And we can snap using the endpoint to any of the corners. In this way, you can move objects without any coordinates, without knowing the distance, using snaps and the base point. The next method is moving by distance. For this, you need to specify a base point, then either in the command line, or in the dynamic input window, set the distance to 40. Use the Move command, select the object, confirm the action, then specify the base point, and set the distance for moving. Enter 40, and confirm the action with the Enter key. In this way, you can move by specified distance. Now let's look at the next Move option. Don't forget to deselect. Now, we will move the circle by coordinates x 30, y 12. Accordingly, we can call the Move command again, select the object, confirm the action, and proceed to the displacement option. Now, in the command line, we need to enter the x and y coordinates separated by comma 30 and 12 respectively. Now confirm the action with the Enter key. Our object has moved to the desired point. And the last method of moving is relative to a certain base point on another object. To do this, use the Move command again, select the object, and specify the base point on the edge of the rectangle. Then attach to the other side of the rectangle and confirm the actions. That's all for moving methods. You can also fully select any of the object and activate the command Move, select the base point and move in any direction. The MoveCopy command is somewhat similar to the Move command. Now we will check this. After invoking the MoveCopy command, we select the object to copy with the specification of a base point, and in any direction, without specifying the distance, we copy the circle. To complete the command, use the contextual menu and select Enter. Or press Escape. Next is copying to a specific distance. For this, we will also call the MoveCopy command, select the object, confirm actions, and specify the base point. We can specify at the center of the circle or outside of it. In dynamic input, enter the value 40 and copy the circle. After selecting the object, we see that instead of one circle, we have two. So, everything is done correctly. Next is copying by X and Y coordinates. The logic is the same in the command line. We choose the displacement option, and then simply specify the X and Y coordinates. Select the object, confirm the action, choose the displacement option, input 30 and 12, confirm. The circle is copied correctly. Similarly, check by selecting the object. 2 circles. Next, copying with a base point on any element. Select the object, specify the base point, and snap to another base point. There are ways to perform copying. The command is cyclical. In addition to everything else, the command has an array option, which is included in the option of the mode. Let's see how it works now. Cancel the command with Escape key. We'll call the MoveCopy command, select the object, and then move to the mode option. This option suggests copying in a single mode, or multiple objects for copying. We can use the single mode and see what it entails. We see that the copying does not continue. This is convenient if you need to copy an object only once. Let's repeat the copying and choose the multiple mode. This mode allows copying of multiple objects, as well as the option of copying in the form of an array, with subsequent fitting into a certain area. We'll select the multiple mode, specify the base point, and our cycling copying will continue. Now we see that an array mode has appeared in the command line, and it suggests choosing the number of items. Let's keep 6. Now we see that from the previously selected element, 6 items have appeared, which we can copy in various directions. In addition to everything else, we can fit them. Let's try to fit into a rectangle, some random line. MoveCopy, select Object, Mode, Multiple. Then we choose the base point and select the array option. 8 segments. Confirm. Fit. In this way, using MoveCopy, we can make use of copying in the form of an array, with specified offset. Now let's get acquainted with the Mirror Objects command, which is designed to create mirror copies, relative to a given axis. Open the Facades and Gradients file and use the Mirror Object command. This command prompts you to select objects that need to be mirrored. We'll select everything, along with the text. Confirm the action by pressing Enter, and choose the first reflection axis point. Let it be the end points of the axis. Next, the command offers to delete the original objects. This means that the half from which the mirroring took place will be deleted, and only the final version will remain. We don't need this. We'll click on No. Now we can observe that in addition to the drawing object itself, the text also acquired a mirrored look. In this way, you can quickly and conveniently copy, if you previously set a certain axis. Let's go back, Ctrl-Z. If you noticed, there was an option presented in the command line that is called perpendicular. It's designed to set the axis, perpendicular to which the objects will be reflected. Let's use mirror again. Immediately go to the perpendicular option and specify the first point. Turn on ortho. And this part of the facade is now conveniently mirrored perpendicularly in the desired direction. The next interesting command is rotate, which allows you to rotate the selected object at a given angle around a specified base point. Let's use this command right away, rotate, and specify the object that we need to rotate. Later, we need to reproduce this figure. Let's confirm the action and set a base point. Next, to ensure the object is copied during the move and rotation, we'll use the copy option. Using polar tracking, we will then show how to work with the reference angle. We rotate our section of the figure. This is the element we got. Next, we can select both objects, and they will then rotate together. Now, let's rotate using the reference line. To do this, we need to specify a key point and the intersection of the axes, then set the reference angle, and confirm the final action, new reference angle. As you can see, the reference angle didn't copy this element, so let's try with the copy option to reproduce this drawing. For the copy, we can rely on polar tracking. In this way, without resorting to other editing tools and drawing modes, you can draw a figure using rotation. Next in line, what we will look at are the scale and stretch commands. We'll start with the scale, and this command is located in the Modify group, Scale. It allows you to enlarge or reduce an object while maintaining proportions. This command offers a number of options. After selecting an object, you need to specify a base point, and the first option is Copy. This option allows you to create a copy based on the element. We'll set the scale equal to 2. Accordingly, if the scaling factor is greater than 1, objects are enlarged. If it's less than 1, objects are reduced. In this case, we increased the scale and kept its original version. The next option is by reference length. This option is intended for scaling selected objects by a reference line, the length of which is taken as the scaling coefficient. Specify a line length, and set the new length based on the reference line. The next scaling option is different scales along the X and Y axes. Specify the base point, choose the non-uniform scale option, and set the scale for the X-axis, for example, 2. For the Y-axis, specify, for example, 3. After confirming the command, considering that the scale along the X-axis was 2, and along the Y-axis 3, the rectangle will look like this. The next tool is Stretch. It has 2 functions. The first is moving, and the second is stretching. Objects entirely enclosed in a frame or polygon are moved by the Stretch command, just as they are by the Move command. Let's select the figure. We can see that we now have base points, which we can use to move this element. However, if we want to enlarge or reduce it, we need to select all objects with a fence frame, then call the command. Now, we can reduce or enlarge this object. Next, we will look at 2 types of commands located in the same area. These are Trim and Extend. They are opposite actions, which can be toggled between during the work using the Shift key. What is the purpose of the trim command? It allows for the trimming of various objects along their borders. Let's get acquainted with trimming options and see what they entail. Firstly, you need to select Objects, then Confirm, and the first option is Fence. Trimming objects using lines occurs by intersecting them, and can consist of several segments. For example, you can trim this way. Let's undo that. The next option is Crossing, using a fence frame. We won't consider the project and move to Onto Edge. The No Extend option disables trimming objects based on an imaginary extension of the boundary, while Extend enables trimming based on this imaginary extension of the boundary. Choose No Extend. This is how the edge function works. Those objects that do not connect with any of the other objects, and do not intersect, should be deleted using by Delete key. Let's go back. The next command, opposite in meaning, is Extend, which, accordingly, extends the open objects to their contour, or to intersection with other objects. Let's use the Extend command. Select the object that we want to extend, and, respectively, the boundary to which we want to extend them. Confirm the actions, and then, using the fence frame, we can simultaneously only extend each of the objects. Accordingly, if the extension boundary was not selected, then we cannot extend these lines. And, as mentioned earlier, if you press the Shift key, from Extend we can switch. Edge is not selected here, so trimming doesn't happen. We can switch from Extend to Trim, and vice versa. Undo the actions. Also, if there are several boundaries, in this case 2, then extension will occur from the side closest to the mouse cursor direction. This is how the extension works. If you extend from the top, no extension will occur from the bottom. If you noticed, the command line has the same option as for trimming, and their purpose and functionality are identical.